Lord, protect my family tonight. Powerful night prayer for safety and peace at home. When night falls and silence slowly settles over our homes, a deep reality begins to stir within our hearts. Darkness does not only bring rest, it often awakens the fears we keep hidden during the day. Worries about tomorrow, fears of sickness, thoughts about dangers that surround us, and anxieties about those we love the most. How many times have you closed your eyes only to feel the weight of uncertainty pressing on your chest? In those moments, even the strongest hearts can feel fragile. It is precisely here, in the raw honesty of our vulnerability, that God reveals himself as the unshakable protector. Tonight, this prayer is not just about words. It is about a cry rising from within your soul to the Lord who hears, sees, and responds. Imagine your home being surrounded by a wall of divine fire. Imagine each corner, each room, each person you love being covered by an invisible shield of peace. This is not imagination, it is faith materializing into reality. The same God who closed the lions' mouths for Daniel, who protected Israel in the desert with a pillar of fire at night, who covered his people with the shadow of his wings, is the God who promises to guard your family tonight. And he will. But for that to happen, you need to open your heart, break free from distractions, and immerse yourself fully in this time of prayer. Because when you pray with faith, you are not just asking for protection. You are activating heaven's armies on behalf of your home. You are lifting up a cry that shakes spiritual realms. You are declaring that your family belongs to the Lord and no power of darkness can touch what he has consecrated. So tonight, get ready. Do not pray with half your heart. Do not just listen. Enter into this prayer as someone who fights for their family's destiny, because every word spoken here is like a sword of light cutting through the night, silencing fear and commanding peace to reign in your home. And from this very moment, as you join in faith, you will sense a calm that is not of this world. The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will begin to guard your heart and your mind. Let this introduction be your wake-up call. Tonight, you and your family are under divine protection, and no evil will prevail against the house where the Lord dwells. Every family faces invisible battles. You may not see them with your physical eyes, but they are real. The sleepless nights when worry keeps you awake, the sudden arguments that break peace at home, the constant pressure of bills and responsibilities, the strange atmosphere that sometimes fills a house without any logical reason, all these are signs of a spiritual struggle. The Bible is clear when it says that our fight is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against spiritual forces of darkness that attempt to destroy what God has built. Understanding this truth is the first step toward true protection. If you think that the challenges in your home are just coincidences, you will always feel defenseless. But when you realize that there is a battle happening beyond what your eyes can see, your heart will awaken to the urgency of prayer. Prayer is not just a religious routine. It is a weapon, sharper than any sword, capable of cutting through despair and releasing victory. Think for a moment. How many times has your family been spared from accidents, sickness, or unexpected losses without you even knowing? That was not luck. That was divine protection already at work. Now imagine if, instead of living unaware, you actively called upon this protection every night. Imagine your prayers rising like shields around your loved ones, forming a spiritual fortress no enemy can break. Tonight, as we begin this prayer, I invite you to open your spiritual eyes. Recognize the battlefield, but do not fear it, because if there is a battle, there is also a victory prepared by God. And this victory will be sealed through your faith and the authority of His Word. As we move forward, remember this: prayer is not about asking timidly. Prayer is about declaring boldly, with the confidence of one who knows they are backed by the Almighty. This is the mindset that will guide us tonight. You are not powerless. You are not alone. You are stepping into a time of prayer where the impossible becomes possible, where fear loses its grip, and where God Himself rises to defend your family. Your family is not just a social unit, it is God's creation, designed with purpose and filled with eternal value. From the very beginning, when the Lord said, "It is not good for man to be alone," He established that the family would be the foundation of love, protection, and spiritual legacy. Every child, every spouse, every parent carries within them the reflection of God's image. That is why the enemy hates the family so deeply. Destroying homes means shaking the very roots of society and weakening future generations. But tonight we stand to affirm something greater. Your family belongs to the Lord, and nothing can snatch it from His hands. Every word spoken in this prayer is a declaration that your home is not up for negotiation. It is consecrated ground, a dwelling place of the Holy Spirit. Perhaps your house has experienced moments of conflict, distance, or even cold silence. Maybe fear has crept in, leaving marks on hearts and relationships. But hear this truth: no brokenness is too great for God to restore. No wound is too deep for Him to heal. No separation is too wide for Him to reconcile. When you place your family under God's care, you are entrusting the most precious treasure of your life into hands that never fail, and He delights in protecting what you love. Think of your family now. Picture the faces of those you care for, the laughter, the tears, the memories you hold dear. Bring them into your prayer tonight as if you were placing them at the very altar of God. Because that is exactly what you are doing, offering your family to the Lord as a holy offering, asking Him to cover each life with His mercy and shield each one with His divine protection. And as you do this, faith begins to transform the atmosphere. Walls of division start to crumble, fear gives way to peace, and the warmth of God's presence begins to flood the home. This is not just another night. This is a night of covenant, where you declare with authority, "My family is under the protection of the Almighty." Protection is not only about strong doors or locked windows. True security begins in the spiritual realm, where God Himself surrounds His children with a shield that no human eye can see, but every heart of faith can feel. The psalmist declared, "The Lord is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust." These are not poetic words. They are a spiritual reality for those who choose to believe. Imagine your home right now being wrapped in a dome of light, like an invisible shield covering every room, every corner, every person who lives there. That is what happens when we invoke the presence of God over our family. Fear loses its power, accidents are diverted, sicknesses are restrained, and evil intentions are frustrated. You may never know how many traps were set against your household today, but one thing is certain: when God is the watchman, no weapon formed against you will prosper. Tonight, as you join in prayer, let this image sink into your spirit. Your house shining like a beacon in the darkness, angels stationed at its entrances, peace flowing through its walls, and every plan of the enemy collapsing before it even reaches your door. This shield is not temporary. It renews every time you choose to trust in the Lord. And trust is not just a thought, it is an active decision, reaffirmed each time you lift your voice in prayer. This moment is proof that you believe God is greater than the threats around you. The enemy may roar, but he cannot cross the line that God has drawn around your family. And the more you declare this truth, the stronger this shield becomes, until the fear that once haunted your nights loses all authority over your heart. Tonight, you are not asking timidly for protection. You are proclaiming it with confidence, because you know the one who guards never sleeps, never slumbers, and never abandons his own. Fear has a way of sneaking into our homes. Sometimes it comes through the news, sometimes through unexpected bills, sometimes through the silent tension of a family conflict. And if left unchecked, it multiplies into anxiety, robbing peace and leaving hearts restless. But God did not create you to live under the weight of fear. Scripture declares God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. That means fear is an intruder, a thief that must be expelled from your life and your family tonight. Imagine fear as a shadow trying to stretch across your home, dimming the light and chilling the air. Now imagine the power of God entering like a blazing fire, consuming that shadow until nothing remains but warmth and clarity. This is what prayer does. It drives away the lies of the enemy and replaces them with divine truth. Tonight, you will declare out loud that fear has no authority here, that anxiety cannot dictate the atmosphere of your home, and that your family will rest in the safety of God's promises. Every word of this prayer is like a key breaking the locks that fear has tried to place on your heart. And once those chains are broken, peace flows in like a river, washing away the residue of worry. Look closely at your thoughts right now. How many of them are fueled by fear? How many of them are painted with worst-case scenarios? Offer them to God in this moment. Replace them with the certainty that His love casts out all fear. As this truth takes root in your spirit, you will begin to notice the shift, not just in you, but in your entire household. Children sleep more peacefully, conversations flow with more kindness, and even the atmosphere of the house feels lighter. Because where the Spirit of the Lord is, fear cannot remain. Tonight is the night to cut the cord of anxiety and to declare with conviction, "My family will live in peace, because the Lord Himself watches over us." Peace is not just the absence of noise, it is the presence of God filling every space. Many homes appear calm on the outside, yet inside there are storms of unspoken words, silent resentments, and hidden tensions. But tonight, you are called to speak peace, not only as a wish, but as an authority given by God. When Jesus stood in the boat during the storm and said, "Peace, be still," the winds and waves obeyed. That same authority rests upon those who believe in Him. Now imagine walking through your home in prayer, opening your mouth to declare peace over the living room where conversations take place, peace over the kitchen where meals are shared, peace over the bedrooms where rest is sought. Every declaration is like lighting a candle in the darkness, pushing back the shadows until the house glows with a serenity that cannot be explained by circumstances. This is not sentimental. It is spiritual. When you declare peace, you are aligning your home with the order of heaven, where there is no confusion, no chaos, no strife. Think of the words that have been spoken in your house. Some may have cut deeply, others may have created distance. Tonight, you have the opportunity to replace those words with blessings, to heal the atmosphere with declarations of peace that will echo into tomorrow. Even if conflict has been a frequent guest, it no longer needs to hold a seat at your table. Even if anxiety has been a visitor, it no longer needs to stay under your roof. As you speak peace, angels move to guard the atmosphere, and the Holy Spirit breathes calmness into every corner. Let your voice become the instrument of this transformation, turning your home into a sanctuary where God's presence reigns. Peace is not optional for your family. It is promised, and tonight you claim it with conviction. Protection over your family goes beyond walls and doors. It extends into the very hearts and lives of those you love. Intercession is the bridge you build between their needs and God's power. When you intercede, you stand in the gap, carrying their names, their struggles, their vulnerabilities before the throne of grace. Some members of your family may not even know how much they need prayer. They may be far from God, distracted by life, or weighed down by silent battles. Yet tonight you can cover them in prayer, releasing a spiritual covering that they cannot see but will surely feel. Imagine speaking the name of each loved one as though you are placing them gently in God's hands. See Him embracing them, shielding them, guiding them back to His path. The enemy may try to sow division, rebellion, or indifference within families. But intercession, becomes the weapon that breaks those schemes. Your words tonight are not mere requests. They are declarations backed by divine authority. When you pray for your children, you are building a wall of fire around their hearts. When you intercede for your spouse, you are strengthening the bond that God Himself has blessed. When you mention relatives, even those distant, you are sending spiritual light into places you cannot physically reach. Intercession is not bound by geography or time. It penetrates every barrier, and it endures beyond the moment you finish speaking. Believe that tonight, as you raise your voice, God is dispatching angels to minister to your family, touching their minds, healing their wounds, and protecting them from harm. This is the unseen labor of love, the greatest gift you can give to those under your care. And when you make intercession a habit, your household begins to flourish in ways you never imagined, because the constant covering of prayer leaves no room for the enemy to plant his seeds. Tonight your words are seeds of life planted into the soil of eternity. Nighttime can feel vulnerable. The world grows quiet, shadows stretch across the walls, and minds often replay the worries of the day. But for the believer, night is not a moment of fear. It is a sacred opportunity to surrender everything into God's keeping. The same God who never sleeps nor slumbers watches over you while you rest. Imagine Him standing guard over your home, His presence stronger than any lock or alarm, His angels stationed at the doors and windows like sentinels of light. Tonight, as you prepare for rest, release every concern into His hands. Lay down the weight of unanswered questions, unfinished tasks, and lingering doubts. Speak it out. Lord, this night belongs to you. My family is yours. Our dreams, our safety, our very breath rests in your care. In that moment, the atmosphere shifts. Anxiety cannot linger where surrender is complete. Fear loses its grip when trust is established. And rest becomes deeper when you know that the Creator of heaven and earth Himself is keeping watch. Entrusting the night to God is not passive, it is active faith, a declaration that He is in control, even when your eyes close and your body grows still. The beauty of this surrender is that it prepares you not only for peaceful sleep, but also for renewed strength in the morning. As the night covers your home like a blanket, you are wrapped in the assurance that God is present, attentive, and powerful. The Lord surrounds you like a fortress, and His peace settles like a soft wind across your household. Tonight, as you entrust the night to Him, you are proclaiming that darkness has no power here, because the light of God never fades. And when you awaken, you will do so not with the residue of fear, but with the freshness of a new day born from trust. This is the promise of the God who keeps watch, the assurance of a Father who never abandons His children. As this sacred time of prayer comes to an end, let your heart rest in the certainty that God has heard every word. Tonight, you declared protection over your family, peace over your home, and trust in the one who never abandons His children. These words are not empty. They are seeds planted in faith, and they will bear fruit in God's perfect time. Angels have been dispatched to surround your loved ones. Peace has been established as the atmosphere of your household, and rest is now secured under the watchful eyes of the Almighty. Before you close your eyes tonight, choose gratitude. Thank God for His faithfulness, for the unseen battles He has already won, and for the assurance that tomorrow will begin with His mercies made new. Gratitude seals this prayer, turning words into lasting promises. Go to sleep, knowing that the Lord Himself stands guard, and wake tomorrow with strength, because the night belongs to Him. And now, I invite you to take this moment further. If this prayer touched your life, do not keep it to yourself. Subscribe to this channel so you can join us every evening in prayer. Share this video with your family and friends who need the comfort of God's presence tonight. By doing so, you become part of a greater mission, spreading faith, peace, and protection to countless homes. Together, we can let the light of God reach even more hearts.